Okay, today we're going to make a fresh pasta. I'm going to show you exactly how easy this is. We've got 1 pound of the durum wheat we've included in your box. These are for the beautiful eggs from Handmade Farm, pasture raised here on Bainbridge Island. I like a ratio of 100 grams of durum wheat to each, large egg. And the pound that we've included of your durum wheat is about 450 grams, which means that you can use almost all of it and then reserve some for casting, which you'll see the importance of later. So what I'm going to do is use about 90% of the included flour here in your pasta. I'm just going to leave just a little bit in the bottom here for casting flour around when it's time to work it and roll it out. First thing I'm going to do is make a little well here in the middle. This is where the eggs are going to cool up. So I'm just going to crack them one at a time into the well. And if you can see that you're going to lose your structural integrity of the moat, you can make a little more space for it, like I just did. There you have it. Now, I'm going to start beating these eggs with a fork. You really don't need special tools for this. In fact, the whole point here is we want to show you how you can do this quickly in your kitchen. It seems like a big project, making pasta by hand, but I think you'll find that this comes together real fast. So once I beat my eggs into, I guess what you'd call it's like you're going to scramble them. Now I'm going to start incorporating some of this wheat from the outside of my well right into the center. And I'm going to just try to do this evenly until it gets a little too thick to move around with my fork, in which case I'm going to start incorporating it with my hands and actually kneading. Right now you can see it's still pretty watery. Alright, I'm going to add a little more of this. Okay, and now I'm going to start to knead and form it into a dough ball. Let's just gather it together and press it. And just keep doing that. If you've ever made a pie crust or really any other sort of dough, this will feel familiar. We just want this to come together into something that I can put some weight into, which, as you can see, it's doing now. The flaky bits falling off, I'm just going to keep gathering them. All right, and you can see my dough starting to form. If you have a pastry knife or a bench scraper, that can be a really helpful way to kind of keep everything consolidated. Or you can just use a regular knife. Like I said, I want to show you how easy this is. You don't really have to gather a lot of special tools, and how quickly you can go from cracking eggs to rolling pasta. So I'm going to show you this technique a little more carefully here. Press it down, fold it in half, rotate 90 degrees, press it down, fold it in half towards you, rotate 90 degrees. I'm just going to keep doing that. Use your body weight. And I'm going to do a little time lapse, I suppose. I think 5 to 10 minutes is a pretty good estimation of how long this can and should take. So I'll show you what this looks like now. And then I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to just go ahead and knead this for 4 or 5 minutes while I hang out, have a glass of wine. Well, you can do that in your kitchen. I'm not going to do that right this second. And then we'll zoom back in and start this up again when this is smoothened the way I like it. Okay, so I kneaded this for about 5 minutes or so, and you can see that it's nice and supple, and it's got a good little spring back when I push down on it. It doesn't have any major chunks in it. It's not tearing. What this process has done is develop the gluten And that's what's gonna help keep this together when we roll it out into a nice thin pasta. The protein in the wheat, those little molecules, they kind of grab each other, they like chain up and makes this firm and bouncy and resilient. What I'm gonna do now is rest this for about 2 hours in the refrigerator. I'm just gonna wrap this, not super tight, but we wanna keep the moisture in. We'll put this in the fridge, and we'll check it in 2 hours, roll this out and make nudes. Okay, pasta party, part 2. Right now we've got our Sackerburgers pop-up going in the back, so don't mind the extra noise. I wish you could smell it. It smells great in here. This is how it goes in restaurants, you know? You find a place to do your prep, and you just move out and you do it where you can make room. So here's our dough. It's been resting now. You can see it's shiny, it's smooth. All the fats from the egg yolk have, you know, given this thing like a nice kind of rich luster. Really sweet looking dough. I'm going to cast the flour around on my work surface like this. Just a nice smattering of flour without it being too heavy. This was that 10% that I held back. And I'm gonna hold on to my plastic that I wrapped this up with, because as I work with this dough, I don't want it to dry out and form a crust. So I'm just going to slice off a portion, and then I'm just immediately wrap this back up. And over here I have set a tray and some parchment paper that'll keep these separate. Now, I'm just gonna use a dowel, and you might wanna give this a little bit of flour lube as well. And I'm just gonna start rolling. And you can fold it and roll it and fold it and roll it to make really robust noodles. But this is just looking really nice. So I'm just gonna keep rolling this out until this is as thin as I want it to be. If you have a pasta roller at your house, like an imperial machine, that can be really good too. But I wanted to show you the no special tools trick. So that's what we're gonna do here. And if it starts to stick to your rolling pin, just add a little flour as you go. That's gonna keep everything from sticking. It's cold, so it's kind of stubborn. That's okay, it's how we like it. Just means that the gluten was very well developed in this dough. And now we can decide how thick or how thin we want this. If I was gonna cut this into very thin noodles, like a spaghetti, having something that's nice and thick, it kind of makes like a square noodle, and that can be fun. I'm gonna do pappardelle, this first one. So I'm gonna get this just as thin as I can manage. Let's see, it's almost there. So this is very thin, feels good. I'm gonna go ahead and cut my noodles now. So you can just use a knife. If you're making soba, they roll it and cut it. Just to make sure that we don't end up sticking the noodles together, I'm just gonna hand cut them. So pappardelle, you might go a ½ inch to a full inch wide. It's really completely up to you. These pretty little ribbons will make really nice pasta. They call hand-cut pasta. So I tend to shoot for about 3 ounces a portion, and you should have about probably 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds of pasta, depending on the weight of your eggs. So that'll give you plenty of pasta for a nice big bowl for the whole family. I'm just gonna do a couple more of these nudes, and then when you're ready, say this is your portion. You gather them all up together like this, and you can just very lightly twist them into a nice little roll, just like that. And if you want to cover them up, you can set them aside, but I would say just do this right before it's time to cook them. Another shape that I think is really fun when you're doing this by hand It's called mal tagliati, and that just literally means for bad cuts, badly cut. And so you can't go wrong. That's something that you typically do from the trim of pasta. So I'm just gonna take this one and just go like this. Start cutting into random weird shapes as if they're just scraps. There you go. This is a nice pile of mal tagliati. And you can imagine a nice meaty ragu with these pretty little noodles hanging around. That can be a portion there. I'll spare you the rest of it. You can take your time going through these. You can cut them as thick or as thin as you like. This fresh pasta should cook in about 4 minutes in heavily salted boiling water. Enjoy. Mangia.